Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Podcast, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
I'm Tim Stanivek along with Emily Graffeo. Let's take a look at some stocks on the move today. We are joined by Bloomberg News cross-asset reporter Denitsa Sikova. Denitsa, I felt like there were a lot of companies that you could choose from today. I had problems picking the stocks that I wanted to talk about.
For sure. It was really hard finding losers. There were so many gainers today. But so that said, let's start with one gainer. We'll start with Boeing. It had a really good start of the day, and it all came from an upgrade from Bank of America. The stock closed 2% higher. So Bank of America, Ronald Epstein, upgraded it from hold to buy, and his price target is now the highest on the street, 260, which it shows significant upside from here. We know the stock has actually had a really strong year, and more generally from the April low. With that terrible accident, there has been upside for the stock. There was the government contract, but now Bank of America is seeing optimism because they're finding it a trade tool. It's benefiting. We saw Qatar Airways deal. We saw China removing the ban. So there has been so many upsides. And again, it's a trade war story, and there are new winners emerging. And according to Bank of America, Boeing is one.
I love this story.
Yeah.
I mean, this was like this is a really interesting note. And it's like wait, how did I not see that a couple weeks ago? That after he visits these countries, you start to see orders for Boeing aircraft.
Right. The Trump administration has been including orders for Boeing planes in trade discussions, and that's helping restore B of A's confidence in the stock.
It's fascinating. There should be a whole basket of trade. I'm sure there is.
I'm sure there is. We'll be finding it and writing about it.
Okay, so Boeing up today by 2%. You're also watching shares of Automakers. What's going on?
Yeah, and this, we could argue earlier when the tariffs were announced, this was also one of the beneficiaries. We're talking about Ford Motors and General Motors. Both are actually under pressure today. So maybe our theory is not so right. They fell about 4%, pretty much similar moves there. Again, we're talking about trade and related comments from President Trump. This time, it's about automaker parts and that they should be made in the U.S. Of course, a lot of those are coming from Canada, Japan, South Korea. They have started to raise prices to offset tariffs. So obviously, that's complicating the whole supply chain. There is obviously already a 25% import tariff on car imports. So even some of the initial optimism of these companies have a lot of U.S. production, they'll be less exposed. The more that we learn about it, the more pressure is putting on some names. General Motors is down 10% year to date. Ford is actually flat, so still not enough to bring the gains from earlier.
And as far as today's trade goes, General Motors down about 3.9%, ticker GM. Ford, ticker F, down today by about, it's the same, about 4%.
Yeah, it's similar, right? Yeah.
Okay, and finally, you're looking at a pharma company.
Yeah, we've been talking about the vaccine makers. Today we're looking at Moderna, ticker is MRNA. It closed 2% higher, and it had an even bigger jump earlier in the day. But we're having another announcement of the FDA approval for two groups, adults over 65 and anyone over 12. We've seen a couple of those announcements and successful approvals. Of course, that industry is under a lot of scrutiny. We have Robert Kennedy in the administration who has launched a whole campaign against those. But it's interesting that a lot of the moves earlier faded. And people are saying, this is actually a very nice note from William Blair, that the approval is incremental win for Moderna, and also does not see the approval of the vaccine as a massive boost to their COVID vaccine sales. And that said, Moderna is down 35% year to date. A lot of voting in vaccine stocks, and they have felt a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I feel like this is maybe what we saw today is okay, they got the FDA approval, but does it actually translate down to sales, particularly when the second generation COVID vaccine is for all adults over 65.
Yeah.
And anyone over 12 who has at least one risk factor for severe disease. So this is not necessarily the 2021 type vaccine where everyone is rushing to go get a shot.
Yeah, and those rates have been falling. We've been looking at vaccination rates for sure. That's just been falling for a long time. And there is still a lot of pressure in the administration.
The Stock Movers Podcast from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.